moving on to my rankings for the 2025 Qatar Grand Prix. In this series, we rank all 20 drivers from the weekend from best to worst. If you want to do this series throughout the rest of the season and heading in to 2026, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's do this. The first driver, Nico Hülkenberg, who had a very solid weekend considering the car he had. I don't think the Sauber was very competitive whatsoever, but got the maximum, I think, in most of the sessions and got taken out by Pierre Gasly, which was really his fault. We will get on to Gasly later on, but Hülkenberg, like I said, didn't do too much wrong, so I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 for the weekend. Next up, Ollie Behrman, who had a very unlucky weekend, beat his team in every session, should have scored some points considering the Haas did not look great, and the team just ruined it for him, unfortunately, with the pit stop. So, bad luck from Behrman. I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10 because he didn't finish the race. If he did finish the race, he probably would have been a 7 or maybe even an 8 out of 10 because the Haas was not competitive at all.Moving on to Isaac Hadjar, another good weekend from him. I'm not too sure how the DNF actually happened, to be honest with you. I think it just was generally a punch up. I don't know actually what happened, but really solid weekend again. Outclassed his teammate as always, and it looks like, according to the rumours, he's going to be in Red Bull next season, which will be interesting to see how that goes. But Hadjar this weekend, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I know with Behrman he didn't finish the race and I gave him a 6, but with Hadjar he didn't and I gave him an 8. But Hadjar was just so much better than Behrman this weekend. It was unbelievable. Next up, Lance Stroll. A bit of a meh weekend from Lance Stroll, not really anywhere near his teammate. I think this is probably one of his worst tracks on the calendar, to be honest with you, so I didn't really expect much from Stroll this weekend, so I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10. Not a good weekend from Stroll. Next up, the first man to actually finish the race, Pierre Gasly, who, considering the car he had, I think he did pretty well, but kind of ruined it with the Hülkenberg and him obviously taking out Hülkenberg in the race, which in my opinion was entirely his fault. Not too sure how he didn't get a penalty, but it is what it is. But he didn't really get any points anyway. He finished last out of all the people that finished. But for Gasly this weekend, I'm going to give him a 4.5 out of 10, mainly because of the crash that he caused. Moving on to Esteban Ocon. If there's one thing I can describe about this weekend, is consistent. Look at this. 15th, 15th, 17th, 15th. Very consistent from Esteban Ocon, so I'm going to have to give him a 3 out of 10, just consistently slow. Moving on to Franco Colapinto, and another really bad weekend for Colapinto. The two drivers he beat had penalties and a collision and beat a bunch of DNF cars. Not good enough for Colapinto. I'm going to give him a 2 out of 10. Not a great weekend whatsoever. Next up, Gabriel Bortoleto, who had a very solid weekend. Wasn't quicker than his teammate, wasn't that much far off his teammate, was just there this weekend, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give Bortoleto a 4 out of 10. Not his best weekend, not his worst weekend, just average. Next up, Lewis Hamilton. I do not know what's going on with Hamilton this year. Next up, Lewis Hamilton. I'm not too sure what's happening to Hamilton this year. He was really good at certain points of the season, but this last 3-4 races, he's just not been there. Maybe he's just trying things with the setup. Who knows? But not good for Hamilton this weekend. I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10. Just not quick whatsoever. Next up, Alex Albon. Another solid weekend from him. He's having a great season, but got outshined by his teammate once again, and unfortunately was very close to getting a point, but yeah, not great from Albon, so I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10, mainly because he just got outclassed by his teammate. Next up, Yuki Tsunoda, a solid weekend from him. For second Red Bull seat standards, I think this was a very good weekend for Yuki, so I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Not bad, not great. Next up, Liam Lawson, a good weekend for Liam Lawson, was just consistently getting better and better as the weekend went on. Still got beat by his teammate on pace, but just got the result. That's all Lawson has to do, really just get the results, and he got the result. So I'm going to give Lawson a 6.5 out of 10. You may argue this should have been higher, and I kind of agree, to be honest. This probably should be a 7, but a 6.5 I think is just about correct. Next up, Charles Leclerc. Not a good weekend for him, but I think that's mainly because that Ferrari was absolutely dreadful. The fact he even got some good points is pretty impressive, so I'm going to give Leclerc a 5.5 out of 10, because I don't know if the car was bad or if it was good and the drivers really under-delivered, so I think a 5.5 is fair. Next up, Fernando Alonso. Another great weekend from the Spaniard. He's been really impressive these last couple of weekends, especially the second half of the year, really. He's been very, very impressive. So I'm going to give Alonso an 8.5 out of 10. I think that's probably his highest rank I've given him so far since I've been doing this. Next up, George Russell. Another good weekend. I'm kind of fed up of saying this at this point. Just another good weekend. I mean, he didn't have the best of races, but I think it's because he messed up the start, but those things happen. It is what it is. I'm not going to knock someone's rating because they had a bad start. That's just not me. But when he did get into clean air, he did prove that he had the pace to fight for a good result. So I'm going to give Russell an 8 out of 10. Another good weekend from Mr. Russell. Next up, Kimi Antonelli. Another good weekend from the Italian. These last couple of races or so have been really, really impressive. He beat Russell this weekend, and he's been getting closer to Russell throughout the last couple of races or so. I'm excited to see what he can do next year. But for Kimi, good weekend. Going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. The only reason why I've given Russell a bit higher is because I think Russell was quicker this weekend, but obviously Antonelli got the result. But I think a 7.5 is fair, but I could have easily have given Antonelli higher. Next up, Lando Norris. Not a good weekend for Lando Norris. I did kind of expect him to have a bad weekend, but I did not expect him to be so far off, really, his teammate. I thought he was going to be a little bit closer than what he was. Okay, I know my predictions, I predicted him to be outside the top 4, but I thought he would have qualified about second, maybe, and then dropped back because of maybe some bad luck, maybe, I don't know, but he just had no pace. He had absolutely no pace, so I'm going to give Norris a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't a good weekend at all from the Brit. Next up, Carlos Sainz. I mean, how does this man get another podium in a Williams? I don't know how that's physically possible, but it is possible. He's just the GOAT, I guess. So I'm going to give Sainz a 10 out of 10. It was a brilliant race, brilliant strategy from Williams, and a well-deserved podium. And that's their second podium of the season. Next up, Oscar Piastri. There's not much he could have done, really. Not much he could have done at all. He deserved more. He deserved a lot more. He should have won this race. He had this race basically easy. He was running this weekend on easy mode, and the McLaren team mucked him up, and he's basically out the championship. He's still got a good chance of winning, but he's going to need a miracle to win the championship. He really is. He did really well. I'm not going to knock his rating because he finished second. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. He drove flawlessly this weekend, and he deserved more. And last but not least, we've got Max Verstappen, who won the Grand Prix. You know those memes that people make of Russell does nothing P2? That's sort of what this was for Verstappen, done nothing P1. So I'm not going to give him a 10 out of 10, but I am going to give him a 9 out of 10, because even though he got a little bit lucky with the strategy, he still made it work and won the race, and had a good qualifying and a sprint race. Could have been better in sprint quali, but I think a 9 out of 10 is fair, but I could have gave him a 10 if he just didn't get lucky with McLaren's throwing, but that's not his problem. That's the end of my rankings for the 2025 Qatar Grand Prix. What do you guys think of my rankings? Let me know down in the comments what your rankings are for the 2025 Qatar Grand Prix, and I'll see you guys for my predictions video for the last race of the season.